future doesn't have to be like that. If you step on in to the secret kindergarten, showing you that your young children hold the key to understanding the universe, understanding the self, and therefore they hold the key to human freedom. Your child is the gatekeeper. Only you can open the gate, and the secret kindergarten is going to show you how.
It's for grown-ups. So if any kids are watching, listening, you can still listen. But it's really just for grown-ups, so it's going to be probably not very fun for you. Okay, so why am I doing this? Well, I feel that I need to, or I want to, qualify myself as a grown-up for all the stuff that I do for kids. I don't know if any kids even actually, at least live, listen to this. If they do, if you're out there, any grown-ups that are listening to this with kids, or any kids listening, please let me know, because I've heard from some that download the podcast, and that means everything to me. That's why I still do this. But I do want to know if I want to get a head count, okay? Because I want to make some changes, and I don't want to let anybody down, but I don't know if anybody... I'm just being honest. I don't know if anybody's even listening to this in the way that it's intended, right? So I'm just putting that out there. And so I've decided, because when I did start the secret kindergarten, once I'd figured out a thing or two when I was teaching, as an early childhood teacher, it was directed at parents, and then I must admit I kind of gave up on that and decided to focus on just the kids, which is what I was good at doing, focusing on, caring about the kids. And so what I'm intending to do is diversify my investment of time. So I want to split the show into, the first half is for kids, which I'll print out as a podcast, and the second half I get to flex a bit of my pedagogy, as they say, which is the study of child development, and explore my knowledge and share my knowledge of child development. Now, what qualifies me? Well, guess what? I'm not a parent, and a lot of people don't like that, but I was a child, okay? And I was a child that didn't get certain things that I needed to be a super awesome, amazing human being when I grew up. And my journey in life was trying to find healing through that, and to find meaning in my life and purpose in my life. And I ended up taking a big risk and going into early childhood teaching. And it was a big risk, and it was very rewarding. And what I learned was that I started to feel like I was doing the right thing. I started to feel like I was on the right path. So there was a spiritual aspect to my journey. And yes, I'm probably going to be talking about myself for the next 10 minutes. And I obviously started to figure out what was going on in the world, learning about the truth about things, and just being transparent. I discovered the What on Earth is Happening podcast, which is Mark Passio's work. And I then started to get parallels between these spiritual teachings, these teachings about hermetic principles, natural law. I started to get, synchronicities and serendipities that were basically affirming me, and it was a feeling that I never really had before as someone that had grown up in a sort of strict religious environment, Catholic, and da-da-da-da-da. So I continued to follow the muse, and I kept studying, obviously not just What on Earth is Happening, but I kept following that and studying other stuff, and I came across Rudolf Steiner, and I started to take a little bit of interest in actual, child development stuff on the spiritual side of things. And I started to read a little bit of Rudolf Steiner, and it was very, from what I had already learned anecdotally, it was resonating with his work. So I decided to put that book down and keep going with the anecdotal stuff. And what I learned was this: spending time with children immerses you in the world of symbolism, such as animals, numbers, and colors, and obviously plants, and these kinds of things. And I learned that it is a right way, like the right way, or one of the right ways of spending your time and attention. And I also learned that spending your time and attention in the right way, it's spending your true currency, the real money, wisely. And I learned that time and attention were spiritual currencies as I spent more time and attention on trying to make the right outcomes for kids and trying to do the best. Was I the best? No, but I was novel, that's for sure, in the teaching environment, in the classroom environment. So yeah, I learned that time and attention were both true spiritual currencies, and that it was important for adults to give up their time to the kids. And guess what? I also learned that you'll develop, dare I say, psychic powers. Spending your time and attention on young children. How does that work? Well, they test your patience, and you become tired and stressed. And what I learned is that parents' minds are being put into the theta brainwave state. And the theta brainwave state is associated with the subconscious and all manner of practices associated with the subconscious, of course. So you end up tapping into your subconscious mind, the subconscious frequency, that space that people that work on their mentalism or their self-mind control, however you want to call it. We're talking about Bruce Lipton's work, Joe Dispenza's work, that sort of thing. And you go into a state that is very receptive, where you get synchronicities, guidance. Guidance from where? Well, that's your journey. That's your path to find out who or what's guiding you from spending time in this state. I say angels and fairies. That's a way to define it, which I go into in my other show, Otherworld Connections, Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Power and Revolution Radio, Studio A. And so when you're in this state, you get to be able to work on, your thoughts, your goal setting, your positive thinking, asking for help from the universe or God, thoughts on achieving your goals and finding your life path. And I learned all that from working with the kids, and it's all experiential and anecdotal. And then I decided to, share this information with adults. And I've got a lot of work to do there in terms of my communication, and that's okay. And then as I went on, as the years have gone by, and as the last year has gone by, as I've done a lot more study and work on content for young children, well, I learnt better about the esoteric understanding of the relationship between the adult and the young child. And I'm just going to share this little bit from Rudolf Steiner that really does sum this up, because I am concerned about, like all of us out there, I am concerned about the future, and I'm especially concerned about the young children that have the chance to be out of the matrix, out of the system, because I think we haven't quite got a common understanding of how it works between the relationship between the adult and the child. And I feel like, I'm sorry that I'm qualified to share this information because of all the time I've spent with kids. Let's put it this way, I've changed about as many nappies as a mother of two. I am not proud to admit that, but I've changed about 35,000 nappies in my lifetime. Seriously. So anyway, Rudolf Steiner, you cannot make people intelligent by cultivating the intellect as early as possible. Humanity must once again find a living approach, and people must realize that dead truths cannot govern life. Only living truths can do so. The following is a dead truth. We are supposed to train human beings to be intelligent human beings. Therefore, we must cultivate the intellect as early as possible, for this will produce intelligent people. This is nonsense, however. It is as much nonsense as it would be to train a 1-year-old to be a shoemaker. People will, in fact, be intelligent only if they are not given intellectual training too early. It is often necessary to do the opposite of what we want to achieve in life. We cannot eat our raw food but have to cook it first, and if this cooking process were to include the processes which are involved in eating, we might perhaps save ourselves the effort of eating. You cannot make people intelligent by cultivating the intellect as early as possible, but only by cultivating in them, when very young, the faculties which will later have them prepared to be intelligent. The abstract truth is, the intellect is cultivated via the intellect. The living truth is, the intellect is cultivated by healthy belief in rightful authority. Both parts of the statement have quite a different content in the living truth compared to the dead abstract truth. This is something humanity will have to come to realize more and more as time goes on. And I feel that this understanding is being realized less and less, even as more and more adults wake up to what's going on in the world. And that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing. And the intellect in young children is cultivated by a healthy belief in rightful authority. Well, I say that the only true religion, as in, the true meaning of the term, where to tie or to bind, is the tying or the binding between the young child and an adult. And it is a religious thing. And the young child has a healthy belief in rightful authority. They need that rightful authority in the bonding between themselves and an adult. And then the other thing I learned to tag on to that is that young children learn and their brains develop through play. And that's why I'm always like, just go and play, including adults. Go and play with the kids. And I really do think that's the solution. So that's what I am all about. And it is true. And that's how we learn, and we know how, indoctrination. You can actually indoctrinate your kids into the truth. Just because it's the truth doesn't mean you're treating your kid right. So we need to spend more time. It doesn't mean you have to pull your kid out of the kindergarten or the pre-K or wherever. You just got to try and find a way to create that bond, spend more time, and play with the kids. All right. Much love, everyone. Take care, and see you at the next one.